Will you call roll, please?
Oh, yes. Sorry. Browning. Here. Campbell. Here. Guerrero.
Here.
Hilbert.
Here.
Leeper. Here. Wood.
Here.
Stahl is absent.
Mr. Meadows, would you lead us on the
Yes.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do you want to let Lacey talk to the board before we go into closed session?
Sure.
Lacey, do you want to talk to the board before we go into closed session?
Sure. I was just here, I submitted a request for facility use, for summer rec this year. We have our 35th anniversary celebration on Saturday, July 9th. And, I had seen that Warrensburg Corn Festival had hosted helicopter rides and like a golf ball drop. And so I was interested in that, and so I contacted a company out of Rantoul. It's called Sky Summer, I believe, and they could do helicopter rides and a golf ball drop. The cost of just doing the golf ball drop, coming to Illiopolis, would be $750, I believe, and that's just to leave Rantoul, come over, drop the golf balls, and go back. But if we were to do helicopter rides, then it would be no cost to us. They would include the golf ball drop, and whoever wants a ride would just pay their $40 fee to ride the helicopters. I emailed Mr. Meadows the insurance policy that they cover themselves with, and so I was requesting the use of the parking lot area, or like they would come over and tell us what the best area would be, either the football field parking lot area or blacktop area, free from power lines and things like that. So my request was just for facility use on July 9th for that purpose, so.
Alright, so then at this point, I need a motion to enter closed session for the reasons stated on the agenda.
So moved.
Motion made by Matt Wood, is there a second?
Second.
Jessica Browning, call roll please.
Campbell.
Yes.
Guerrero.
Yes.
Hilbert.
Yes.
Leeper. Yes. Wood.
Yes.
Browning. Yes.
Okay, I need a motion to accept the closed session minutes as read in closed session.
So moved.
Motion made by Jessica Browning, is there a second?
Second.
Matt Wood, call roll please.
Guerrero.
Yes.
Hilbert.
Yes.
Leeper. Yes. Wood.
Yep.
Browning. Yes. Campbell.
Yes.
Motion to employ Angie Cerulik as a high school business teacher for the 2022-2023 school year.
So moved.
Motion made by Martha Leeper, is there a second?
Second.
Lori Campbell, call roll please.
Wood.
Yes.
Browning.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Guerrero.
Yes.
Hilbert.
Yes.
Leeper. Yes.
Motion to employ Nancy Dale as a middle school volunteer assistant track coach for the 2021-2022 school year.
So moved.
Motion made by Lori Campbell, is there a second?
Second.
Martha Leeper. Call roll please.
Browning. Yes. Campbell.
Yes.
Guerrero.
Yes.
Hilbert.
Yes.
Leeper. Yes. Wood.
Yes.
Motion to employ Keith Hildebrandt as a middle school volunteer assistant track coach for the 2021-2022 school year.
So moved.
I'm gonna go, motion made by Matt Wood, seconded by Josh Hilbert. Call roll please.
Campbell.
Yes.
Guerrero.
Yes.
Hilbert.
Yes.
Leeper. Yes. Wood.
Yes.
Browning.
Yes. Okay, and then onto the consent agenda, everyone received that. I assume if you had any questions, you've probably spoken to either myself or Mr. Meadows about it. So I need a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Motion made by Jessica Browning, is there a second?
Second.
Josh Hilbert, call roll please.
Guerrero.
Yes?
Hilbert.
Yes.
Leeper. Yes. Wood.
Yes.
Browning.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
And superintendent's report.
Few items on there today, I included the bus repair estimates and the cost of towing for both buses. The total amount was $7,424.52. Lee is trying to argue with the insurance company about the deductible. Since it was one event, he believes that it should be $500 deductible. They're saying that it's $500 per bus. So they're gonna work it out. The most out of pocket for us will be $1,000. No leads, as far as finding the person that did it. Wish I had better news on that end of it, but I don't.
Since those two are our only buses, can we keep them elsewhere? I mean, that have a catalytic converter, can we keep them locked
We
up?
should be able to put one inside here, I don't know.
That just
I
seems
need to
be
find out who the
right.
driver is for the second short bus, if it goes out on a daily basis, if maybe we could, put it in Leopolis and lock it in there. I'll talk to Ryan about that.
Alright,
I thought initially about a fence, and then Jessica told me about a place in Springfield that had their fence cut, and they lost how many?
At least 10.
One business with 10 of them gone, so I thought, now to lose that and a fence. And even with video, without really having a good picture of the license plate or the person,
I guess if we can't get it inside, if we can get a video maybe near where they're parked, like a camera, so that,
we bring them out of the lot here if we can't get them.
yeah, where the cameras are a little closer and more.
I know we can
defined.
fit one in the bus barn. We'll do that. The facilities use, request, as I mentioned, I spoke with Liberty Mutual, our representative, and he has, informed me that Liberty Mutual will not provide liability coverage. That if we wanted to do that, we would have to seek coverage from another insurance company. He kind of described it as a business doing something that they're not used to doing. He said, a knitting company, making grenades, which that's kind of extreme, but, it is a company doing something that they're not insured to do, and that's kind of the situation. I told you that I would make my recommendation against it, but inherently it is a board decision. So it's gonna be up to you.
I forgot my computer at home, what is the amount on their rider? I think it's really low.
They have $1 million of general liability, and they only have $20,000 of medical coverage for 4 passengers, so that's $5,000 per person,
Yeah.
which is really not enough.
No, and it needs to have a big rider.
I don't know if that's something they can do, but I know looking at that, it's a very similar policy to what we would allow somebody to come in and play softball in our gyms, or practice basketball, an outside organization playing basketball, which again, that's something that typically goes on inside of a school.
Can you find out if they have like an event insurance, or they can up their coverages for the event or anything like that, and we can wait till next meeting to decide on it? Or do you need to know now?
I don't need to know now, I can do what you guys need me to do.
My other question too would be if there's a spot locally, farm field, farmers,
Right,
somewhere that we could just provide a bus that, you know, you guys can use free of charge to get kids back and forth to that location, cause I know at the school, they could potentially walk up there from the park and you wouldn't need transportation, but.
well, and, they would be there from like 10 a.m. until, I don't know, 6 p.m. And, I asked them like, do we sell tickets or anything? They said they take care of everything. The only thing Warrensburg does is provide a golf cart, to go from like the park to the school, where they do the rides and stuff, but, we would have no other, you know, but yeah, I thought about that also, somewhere in the village that would.
Did you say Warrensburg had it in the park?
They had it at the school, and then they have their celebration all around town, but they take off like in the back field. And I don't know if it's at the school or the field behind the school, but that's where the helicopter always takes off and lands, so. And then they provide golf carts, you know,
Sure.
to and from, so. But, yeah, I can find out whatever you need, we can.
Do you want, I'm not an insurance person, what I have to talk to Lee about.
I think if we're gonna consider it, we need to talk to Lee, cause I mean, like, just for me going on certain property with the business we do, I have to carry a $2 million rider. So something like this, I'm not taking anybody up in a helicopter, you know, so I
Right.
can't imagine that that's near enough if they were gonna do it. So
Okay.
I would get his recommendation first before you know, call and say, are you able to provide this
Right.
type of rider with this coverage, if we're gonna consider
And
it.
there's still a possibility that he might say, well, it'd be better if they had this, but we're still not going to provide
Right.
coverage for the
Right.
kids, the buildings, if, you know, kind of some.
Yeah.
Right,
was
we're
my
also
concern.
asking the village if there's another location they can come up with.
Yes.
We can help with transportation,
Yeah,
you know, we'd be
Okay.
willing to do that.
okay.
I personally would push that route.
Yeah, it's still early enough. I mean, I had plenty of time to
Yeah.
plan and, just an idea that we had seen and came up with and wanted to check, so.
Just anything close to the buildings, not, I mean, let alone carrying passengers, obviously, but
Right.
anything close to the buildings kinda gets me a little bit
Yeah,
concerned.
Okay.
Thank you.
thank you.
Next up, notice to bargain. The SVE has given me official notice, to meet and bargain. We have scheduled that for June 7th, 8th, and the 10th if necessary. The association has asked if we hold the negotiations at the high school this year, and that's where we'll do it. And they're absolutely correct, because sometimes the Wi-Fi is spotty at best, and the technology at the church is just not what it is here at the school, so they'll have access to smart boards and printers and all of that stuff, so it does make sense. I think at one time, you know, they wanted to do it on, for whatever reason, on kind of a neutral ground. And then sometimes when it happens they used to, back in the day, they used to negotiate during the school year, and the negotiation team would be let out of school, so they had to go to an off-site spot, so. I think the high school is a great place for it. Stephanie, Martha, and Josh will sit in on it along with me on the district side, and then there'll be a committee from the SVA that will represent the SVA.
And the school attorney.
And the school attorney will be there. And they also have an IEA rep that will be there. Next up, I have Room Renovations. Brittany Denton will be coming to the April board meeting, with a plan to remodel this room next to us. As I explained in my recommendations to you, her current classroom sits next to the weight room, which is problematic for a couple reasons. The vibration from racking the weights and lifting, doing normal stuff in there is terrible on the technology in that classroom. It's also very noisy during the school day. I think this is a great option, and if you've not been over there, will probably take a wall out, and then there's another wall on the other side that separates that room from the shop. And there's actually a place for windows where we could have windows installed, where you'd have a clear line of sight from the classroom to the shop. And the setup is going to be really nice, and right now she's just working on trying to get as much of it paid for as possible. And ADM did come through with $12,000 for that project. So, nothing we have to do tonight, but I wanted to kind of give you a heads up that she will be here in April. Next up, the high school fire alarm system repair. We've had troubles with it since the summer, and we just could not get it fixed. And I have a company, Tech Electronics, that came out and fixed what needed to be fixed in a couple days. They are going to be doing our yearly inspection as sort of a tryout, and if they do a nice job on that, then I'll probably move forward with them and give them our monthly monitoring and the yearly inspection. The last two items are kind of deal with food service. I guess it's not the last two. Two of the last three deal with food service. The dishwashing machines are in pretty rough shape in all the buildings. Iliopolis probably has the newest one. I think I told you they were all original equipment. After looking a little bit more closely at it today, I don't believe that is from 1969 based upon the electronics that's there. I'm trying to find out some more information. I would say definitely 2 of the 3 need to be repaired or need to be replaced. And you can spend anywhere from $5,000 to $25,000 on those units. I'm thinking more of the closer to $5,000 per unit range. I don't wanna go too cheap because it's one of those deals where you buy once, cry once, and move on. But, we're going to look at the possibility of using high temp in there. Iliopolis has high temperature, the other two are low temperature, which relies on a lot of chemicals to sanitize the trays, and then they don't dry. So, getting high temp in all three of the buildings would be really nice, and, we could use trays a lot more, and maybe not use styrofoam and paper trays as much as we do. That is a goal of mine, so. With your blessing, I'll bring some bids to April, then we can decide at that time whether you wanna do it or not. Does that sound all right?
Yes.
And then the tables, I don't think those are, I think that's something that we need to do. We currently have 10 tables. Looking at our numbers, I think we can get by with 8 tables. And what I would like to do is buy the tables that have the individual seats as opposed to the bench seating. They're much easier to get in and out of, a little bit lighter as far as throwing them up into the storage position and rolling them around. So I will bring that information back to you as well. That range is $1,700 to $2,500. The $2,500 tables typically have a solid plywood core, which I think would be more durable and will last longer than some sort of particle board. So I'll probably go with the high-end table, mid-range dishwashing machine. And the last one, staffing needs, I put 21, 22 on your report, that should be really 22, 23. I think I would like to replace the position vacated by Debbie Hawkins. I'm projecting 50 students. That means we would probably move a current 3rd grade teacher to 4th grade and hire another 4th grade teacher, and then that would get the numbers in 4th grade that would resemble more of what we have district-wide as far as student-teacher ratio. I don't think 50 is an unreasonable number, but those rooms are small, and there's a lot of stuff in those rooms. So I think we should replace it, and then that person would more than likely then loop to 5th grade the following year. We do have a curriculum committee meeting tomorrow morning, and we'll talk about this in a little bit more detail. But I would like to post the position and see what we get.
Okay,
I think that's it.
that's it. Do you wanna discuss the Alabama bid before we motion it? Or just,
Yeah, we can, where did I put that new business? That would be on there, isn't it?
And what the bids?
it's on my motion
I have the bid, where is it? Oh, it's first one,
Mhm.
I was looking at this. Yeah, I got 2 bids for the brick facade repair. Autobahn was the low bidder at $100,020. The other one was upwards of $146,000. Like I mentioned in my report, I'm not sure of the discrepancy. And if you look closely at the report, or at the bid, it seems like Autobahn is guaranteeing more of that 50% square footage of tuck pointing, like 1,000 compared to 550 from Western. So when we get to that point in new business, I would recommend that you approve Autobahn for that bid for the tuck pointing.
Gonna go through the other new business items, or you wanna do them individually?
We can go individually if you want.
Okay, so then motion to award the high school brick facade repair bid to Autobahn Company for the amount of $100,020.
So moved.
Motion made by Matt Wood, is there a second?
Second.
Josh Hilbert. Call roll please.
Hilbert,
Yes.
Leeper, yes. Wood,
Yes.
Browning,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Guerrero,
Yes. And that's something you wouldn't start till the summer, right?
We could start as soon as possible.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay,
They'll start on the gym and either on the back side or the north side, which really won't be that disruptive to any of the classes going on. So they tell me that there's at least a solid month of work, 20 work days, on the gym itself. So I think with weather and everything else, we'll be lucky to get 20 work days in by the end of school. But they also understand that if they get to a point where they're ahead and it's too disruptive, then they're just gonna have to stop and come back. But I think they're like everybody else, they'd like to get the people out of the hall and get them going, and then they can move at their own pace at that point. For the people out in YouTube land, this is a matching grant. ISB came up with a construction grant, we'll pay half of the basically $100,000 price tag of this. So, it's not all relying back onto the district to get this done.
And desperately needed.
But we need to move over the middle school. Keep right on going.
Next item for new business is the school calendar.
I provided a copy of the calendar. I worked with the SBA on this calendar. I think maybe for some of the new board members, this might be the first time to ever actually see, this is what the calendar looks like that I submit to the ROE, and then that goes on to the state board at that point. So if you have any questions about the calendar, it's a little bit difficult to read, but Teacher Institute on August 15th and 16th, first day with students would be August 17th. And that would be a half day, 11 o'clock dismissal. And then after that, we're going.
Our spring break, this year it's only 2 days.
That's what it usually is.
Is it?
Last year was an oddity.
Is there a reason we do that? That we do the 2
Really,
days in
it
March?
kind of came back to me from the association that they would like to have 2 long weekends as opposed to a long
1 week.
1 week.
And we don't lose kids being pulled out for
Vacation.
It hasn't been a problem.
It hasn't?
So I was okay with that. Doesn't matter when school ends out here, so it's kind of more up to them. But this, again, this was something that they went through and agreed upon, so. 2 weeks off at Christmas, again, that's one of the areas that it didn't used to be 2 weeks. Back years and years ago, you might get out on a Wednesday and have the rest of that week off and the following week off, but the 2 weeks, I'm not sure when that started, but that's what they like, and so that's what we'll do.
Okay, so motion to approve the 2022-2023 school calendar.
So moved.
Motion made by Martha Leeper, is there a second?
Second.
Jessica Browning, call roll please. Oh, I'm sorry, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. And Chromebooks.
Next up, part of the ESSER 3 money we set aside for technology upgrades over the course of the next 3 years. At the pace that we're going right now with replacing the smart boards, we're not going to make it, we're gonna be out of money by the end of the second year. But that's okay, because those things need to be updated as well, and it's not necessarily free money, but it was free to us, and it's a good use of those funds to continue to upgrade our technology, and not only the Chromebooks in the hands of the kids, but then their teacher equipment as well. So, does anybody know how many we've replaced? I know I have 5 of them that will be installed over the short break that we have, and then I had a call for another one today over the middle school. So have we, John, how many of you put in?
Like you mean of the new panels, counting the science lab?
However many, do you have a rough idea?
So it'd be, let's see, 2, 3.
Just this year.
I can think of 4 right offhand over the course of the last couple of years.
They're all the same problem?
With the same problem with the old boards?
Yeah.
Well, no, not exactly. Some of them, they're really old, so some of them, it was the projectors kept going out. Others of them, projectors would stay okay. Maybe get a little dimmer dull, but then the board would quit functioning altogether, so the touch functions and stuff wouldn't work. But they just were, I think, to the end of their life at that time. So these smart panels really for the cost savings and stuff on those, and they don't have the same kind of issues that the actual boards have had. With the bulbs blowing and some of them just kind of blown up.
I hope they'll be more robust than.
Yeah, the one we had in the science lab when we did that renovation, however many years ago that was, it was the first of those smart panels we saw, and it's a little bigger, heavier duty than the new ones, and it's held up really well. I mean, we haven't had, it looks just like, brand new. And the screen and stuff on it's way better. You don't have the reflection stuff from the windows that messes with it and stuff like that. So I think they'll be more like a TV, how long a TV lasts, and something with lamps and bulbs and stuff like that. Throw projectors.
How many have you done any in your building yet? So they've either gone to the high school or.
I'll get two of the ones being put up over spring break.
How about yours? None? I was thinking we were somewhere around 5 to install over break, and then maybe we've done probably 5 or so, close to 5 maybe, in the last 12 months, so. Anyway, that will come out of the ESSER money, and there's a particular amount of money that from that grant that has to go to, direct instruction, so it's a good use for that. And if we go ahead and get them in now, I can get reimbursement from the state at any time. They're very quick, when I put in a request for payment, so we can go ahead and get them ordered, so they'll certainly everything should be here by the start of school.
Okay. So then we need a motion to purchase 150 Chromebooks and Chrome management licenses from QNS for the amount of $47,723.75.
So moved.
Motion made by Jessica Browning, is there a second?
Second.
Matt Wood, call roll please.
Wood,
Yes.
Browning,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Guerrero,
Yes.
Hilbert,
Yes.
Leeper, yes.
And then the last one is the firewall. We used to, when we had Comcast coming into each building, we used to have a firewall in each location. Now all of the fiber comes into the high school, and we have a much beefier, bigger firewall here, and then we send the information from here out to the 2 other campuses. So it cuts down on the number of firewalls that we have, where we're paying like $3,000 some odd dollars per campus for a firewall. Now we've cut that down, but we've also in need for a little bit bigger firewall. So the cost of that has gone up a little bit, but we only have 1 as opposed to 3.
Okay.
Just a little bit of history.
Motion to purchase the Fort iGate firewall from Quality Network Systems for the amount of $5,781.36.
So moved.
Motion made by Josh Hilbert, is there a second? Martha?
Yeah.
Call roll please.
Browning,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Guerrero,
Yes.
Hilbert,
Yes.
Leeper, yes, Wood.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to have a special meeting next Thursday, the 24th at 5:30 p.m. And our regularly scheduled meeting is going to be Wednesday, April 20th at 6 p.m.
Did we say 5:30?
Yes, we did. And I guess at this point, if no one has anything else, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion made by Josh Hilbert, is there a second?
Second.
Lori Campbell, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
At 6:40.